What's up everyone? So today's video, I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I'm always advocating to mod your vehicle and showing you guys a bunch of mods on this channel that you can do to your truck or car. But in today's video, I wanna talk about 5 reasons why I think you shouldn't mod your vehicle, and let's get into it right now. So the first reason, the cost. Obviously mods cost money. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's the wheels, doesn't matter if it's under the hood, it could be anything. It could be suspension, wheels, intake, exhaust. It costs money. So putting that money up front is gonna add to the overall cost of your vehicle. I don't think there's any mods that are too cheap. There's lighting mods, it's just the possibilities are endless, and these things cost a lot of money. So that's number one that I'm gonna say. You're gonna end up spending money, and that's one disadvantage of modding your vehicle. So the second item I want to talk about is reliability. So when you start modifying a vehicle, the reliability is going to play a factor. I know there's some mods that are heavier or more extensive than others, but at the same time, you can't beat OEM. The way the vehicle was originally designed by engineers, and they do put in a lot of consideration into overbuilding the vehicle or over designing it so that it doesn't break down on you. There is a lot of efforts there to make sure there's longevity involved in the vehicle. When you start modifying it, whether it's for more power or bigger wheels, there's just more factors to go astray. Even some of the exhaust stuff, you know, the original exhaust is stainless steel for the most part. So there's just a lot of factors that can go wrong as far as modifying a vehicle. When you start loosening bolts that have been torqued to spec from the factory, there's just a lot that can go wrong. So reliability is going to be number 2. And also, when you're modding a vehicle, sometimes stuff breaks, and sometimes you're waiting for parts. So as you can see right now, my hood's open, and sometimes it's going to be out of commission. So if it's a daily driver for you, I might think twice before modifying it. So the third thing that I want to talk about is wear and tear. So when you modify for more performance, you're going to be squeezing out more horsepower out of that engine, which is in the long run going to put a little bit more wear on your engine if you're producing more power. Another thing, like as for example, supercharger, you're going to be cranking out a lot more horsepower to the engine, which is going to shorten its life. That's another thing too is wheels. When you choose different wheels, they put more wear and tear on the ball joints depending on what you go with. If you go with a bigger, heavier wheel, you're going to be running into wearing out tie rod ends, control arms, bushings, all that stuff is going to wear out sooner. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about modifying your vehicle. The fourth thing I want to talk about is your return on your investment. So a lot of people will end up purchasing parts and mods for their vehicle, and in most cases, if you trade the vehicle in with those performance parts or modifications, you're not going to get any more for the vehicle. In some circumstances, you'll actually get less for the vehicle. And also if you try to part everything out, so if you say, okay, I'm going to put the vehicle back to stock, and decide, you know, for example, put the stock wheels back on this truck, take off the supercharger. Even the parts themselves, when you go to resell them, you're gonna take a big hit on the price of the part that you paid. So that's something else to consider when you're modifying the vehicle, that the overall value of the vehicle in, you know, most cases, there's some rare cases that the value of the vehicle does increase, but very, very rare, the value of the vehicle will be affected by modifying it, and also the parts themselves will lose their value as well. So think about that from an investment standpoint also. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is the miles per gallon. A lot of people, and I see it all the time, are considering or justifying modifying their vehicle, especially the gas vehicles. The diesels kind of, this can be answered a different way, but more so the gas vehicles, when you start modifying them, some people try to justify, like I said, putting an intake on to get better gas mileage because it'll flow more air, or putting an exhaust on because it flows better, or tuning it because it's gonna, you know, make it more efficient. Honestly, guys, I've modified a few of these and it is marginal at best. Most times, or a couple times, I've put on an intake or tested an intake, and I actually found that the miles per gallon decreased, just because I think, at least without a tune, that the engine was seeing a little bit more airflow. It starts adding fuel, which actually uses more fuel, right? So, and at the same time too, when I put an exhaust on my 2009 4th gen, I found that the gas mileage decreased. That's all I did on that, was just put the exhaust on it. I did some other mods, but when I put the exhaust on, I put an MBRP catback exhaust, and I saw the gas mileage decrease. So keep that in mind, guys. And even if, I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't mods that don't slightly help gas mileage by the time you tune it and do everything, but In the long run, it's gonna take quite a bit of fill-ups to try to get your money back because the increase in efficiency is very marginal. Okay, and just as a bonus, we'll call it a sixth one. Modifying your vehicle is addictive. Once you start, it is hard to stop and the ball just keeps rolling and you want to do supporting mods and more mods and it just keeps going and going and going. Take that from myself, I'm guilty of it. We started off with this truck as my daily driver. Now it's kind of a, I don't want to even call it garage queen because it's got 110,000 miles on it at this point, even though it looks pretty good. But when you start modifying things, like we got the Pro Charger system on there, which you guys can check out in other videos if you're stopping in, but we got the full Pro Charger, supercharger build documented on the truck. You know, we got 24-inch wheels, we got aftermarket lighting, we got aftermarket lighting inside, we got full exhaust, full bolt-ons, throttle bodies, tuners, everything. So it's a slippery slope, guys. Once you start modifying, you don't stop. You look over to the Viper, we got suspension, this thing's got full bolt-ons, got wheels, you know, short throw shifters, intake, exhaust, you name it, it's pretty much got it. So that's one of the things, it just kind of consumes your life. Next thing you know, you're buying a hoist, you know, you got benches, you got everything. So it does, I mean, it's a fun hobby, but it definitely does get addicting and you'll start modifying quite heavily. So that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're stopping in for the first time. We do modify vehicles quite heavily on this channel. That's why this video, it has a little bit of irony in it and I wanted to make it for fun. Obviously we got a lift behind us, so we do modify things quite a bit. You'll find the full builds of the Viper and the truck on this channel. Supercharger, as far as the truck goes, it's got a Pro Charger, the wheels. We're doing a lowering kit soon, a Beltec 2.4. It's got headers, it's got full exhaust. You can find all those videos on this channel. And at the same time, the Viper 2, every single mod that was done to that thing, we got it on here too. Rear differentials, we're gonna be doing a transmission in this soon. So lots of stuff on the way, guys. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.